What's up, nail geeks, and welcome back to another polish pickup video. This month we have the theme Under the Microscope, and as a formerly trained microbiologist, this was especially geeking to get to see inspirations, and honestly, I think there's something to learn always on these types of themes, and as people, look up stuff and I guess research, for lack of better words, there's lots of really cool inspirations this month. That's all that to say. If you're new here, if you're new to Polish Pickup, hello and welcome to the channel, to this collaboration, what have you. Polish Pickup is a monthly collaboration featuring dozens of makers. The small amount of makers you see on this video are makers who chose me to represent their polishes through my photography that you may or may not see on social media or the website, things like that, and to also be featured on my video too. There are many more makers than what is featured on this video. There's so very much, and it's just a really fun type of collab between all of these amazing artists. The Facebook group, we have two of them. There is a main Facebook group that's for posting from first watchers and makers alike for what's upcoming. That is the place where you can vote 2 months ahead of time for what theme that you would like to see for 2 months from now. That way we all have extra time to swatch and get all of our stuff together, things like that. And there is a second group that I, myself, and my nail wife, Lisa of Cosmetic Sanctuary, we also run the BST Buy Sell Trade and General Chat group. Super laid back group. You can come in there and just really talk really anything. We've had some beauty questions. We've had people buying and trading polish pickup items only. There are other sale groups for other non-PPU collaboration, things like that. So I do link both of those in the description box on my video for each month if you want to join either of those. And just kind of adding into my journal housekeeping for my intro, I do try to keep these short and sweet as much as possible. I want to note big just celebration noises, things like that, bells and whistles. I have, I guess, for lack of better words, revived the PPUTV channel. It is a separate channel from the Polished Mage. This is for officially Polish Pickup. And what I'm doing with that channel right now is I'm doing Meet the Maker. It's a series where every month for wishlisting on Wishlisting Sunday, that's when the site goes live for preview and you can see what you can order for that upcoming shop sale. On Wishlisting Sunday, I am doing an interview with a maker every single month. Spoiler alert, I do have every single month booked for this year with a maker. I am grateful and thankful, and I'm just blown away by, I guess, courage, for lack of better words. It does take, it takes a lot for somebody to put their face behind a camera and then post it for the public, So thank you to the makers who have joined my lineup. At this time, I am keeping it very top secret with who is going to be featured each month. So there's no list to be found anywhere. I'm keeping it to myself, and a small select few know outside of the makers themselves. But I'm keeping it a surprise, just, why not? Kind of build some anticipation a little bit. So for this wish listing Sunday, you will see my guest for this month for March. You will see that. I'm super geeked for that. I'm so very excited. So we'll have that. And be sure to go subscribe to that. So in the description box below, I'm going to link PPUTV. If you're not a subscriber, go over there, and that way you can never miss my Meet the Maker series. I promise you're going to want to see the makers I have lined up for this year. It is spectacular. That out of the way, we're going to move into the next part of housekeeping, and we're going to talk about my giveaway. If you're new to my channel, on my Polish Pickup videos, I do run a sponsored giveaway through Polish Pickup, where I choose 10 random winners to receive a Polish Pickup gift code to the shop. All you have to do is leave a comment on this video and I will choose you randomly. This month, I dare say I'm actually on time. Possibly. I'm really hoping I can get this video up ASAP before wish listing. Just as another, I guess, heads up, just to, I guess, clarify if anything. Sometimes I do run a little bit behind, whether it's one of my collab videos or anything like that. I just want to make a general blanket statement on these huge collab videos that I do. I'm getting packages from pretty much all over the world. I'm getting packages from Germany in some cases, Australia, Brazil, all over the United States, things like that. And then I've been having some issues with my mail carrier recently. I'm not even gonna go down that road. I've been having some issues with that person, but people are just wild. Anyways, it's a lot, and to have everybody, be able to mail to me on time, things like that. Unfortunately, it just doesn't happen every single month, and I do try my best to get these videos out as soon as possible, but that's just not a thing sometimes, especially with, sometimes international brands will have to ship to somebody in the US, and then from then it gets shipped out again, things like that. It's just the logistics of it. I don't mean to be late for any purpose, anything like that. That's just how it works. And then, I have my kids. I have lots of things going on constantly. It's been a very, very busy months, I should say. I'm always doing something. But anyways, so when I get something, I do my best to just kind of, do a quick turnaround of it. And then, I have to edit the video. And then, did I do the face recordings for that week for the video? Just, it's so much. So I'm not trying to piss anybody off by posting, before a shop opens, things like that. If I had it my way, I would absolutely be posting everything a week in advance. But that's unfortunately just not the thing that happens when you have this many moving pieces to work with. So just quick blanket statement there. Anyways, that was a huge tangent to say that I hope I'm going to get this video out on time for wish listing for a polish pickup this month. The giveaway is going to be running, provided I get this up on time. We're going to do this per usual. We're going to go back to my normal schedule of Tuesday. So I'm going to announce winners for this giveaway on Tuesday, March 4th. At 6 p.m. Central Time. I will respond to your comment, and if for some reason you did not get a notification, I do try to use the tagger, the reply feature on the comments, but if it doesn't tag you, I should say, then just check out at that time. Give me like plus or minus 10 minutes, not before. Sometimes I'm just, tailing through trying to get everything there. So I do my best to get it on 6 p.m. on the dot, and I will have a pinned comment on this video with everyone's names. So what happens to people who win, you will email me, and then I just kind of check you off my list. It's an honor system at this point. Nobody has lied. Everyone's been super sweet and honest and awesome. So hasn't been an issue. I check you off my list. I give you your code, and that's it. Now, those of you who don't respond to me from the previous month, I shame you. And this is my favorite part of these videos. Honestly, it's probably one of my favorite things for the channel. It's just it's all in good fun. And usually I think I've only had I can probably count on one hand how many months I haven't had to shame anybody. So this month, I'm very pleased to say that the two of you I get to shame. Shame on you. You entered my giveaway and you did not stick around to see if you won. If you are Tara Jelsey, if I'm saying that correctly, you are my first one on my list. Please go to the principal's office, aka email me at thepolishedmage@hotmail.com. The second one is Catherine B. Beauty. So Catherine and Tara, you are so much in trouble and you are so very shamed. Email me so I can get you your code, and that way you can use it for this weekend's shop. Everyone else, please leave a comment on this video. That's all you have to do. All I require on this entry, I guess, for lack of better words, is to be kind to one another, be kind to yourself, and just be kind, be nice. This is a Unicorn Farting Rainbows channel, and I do my best to keep it that way. So just be known, just be nice. This is way longer than what I anticipated for my intro. So I'm going to quit yammering, get comfortable. We have a nice big video to check out. So without further ado, let's dive right in. Starting off with Ahmya Cosmetics. This is Spruce It Up, described as a thermal that goes from green to blue with crystal flakes in blue and green. This one's inspired by a branch of spruce under a microscope. Price is $13.50 and there's a cap of 250 bottles. This has a kind of curly-ish type of formula to it. There is a bit of a bounce when you are going in for a second or third coat. With that said, I probably could have stopped at 2 coats to be completely honest, but I felt like on my huge nails, that third coat, it wasn't overkill per se. So definitely going to depend on how you apply and the length and size of your nails. When you have different temperature shifts, I would say that the cold and warm states are kind of in a similar color family, but it's pretty obvious in person. I'm going to suggest a glitter smoothing top coat to smooth out those flakes. Baroness X has Natural Killer. This is a turquoise jelly base with copper to gold to green iridescent microflakes and a mix of holographic glitters. This one's inspired by white blood cells. Price is $13 and there's no cap. I want to note that my Blogger bottle did have the incorrect suspension base used with it, so my glitters did sink a little bit in my bottle. You should have more glitter payoff on each of your coats. This is a true jelly formula, so I'm going to suggest 3 light coats, a glitter smoother, and a glossy top coat. Of course, this is quite versatile in that you could wear an undie to cover your visible nail line. BCB Lacquers Snap Crackle Pop is a sage green Crelly base with strong pink to purple shifting shimmer. This one's inspired by an image of inflammatory pain. This one's $13.50 with a cap of 400 bottles. Snap Crackle Pop is what I would say is a more standard type of feel on application. I'm going to suggest going up to 3 coats with it, light coats mind you, as we do have a plumping type of factor and it is very packed full of shimmer, so you want to avoid overworking this one on the paddle brush to prevent any potential streaking and bald spots. So 3 light coats is going to be your friend and a glossy top coat to smooth it out, as it does dry down on the flat side. Beaux Rêves has Tongue Tied. This is a bright raspberry pink base with violet red orange shimmer. This one's inspired by a human tongue under a microscope, specifically the staining, the pink staining method. Price is $12.50 and there is no cap. Tongue Tied is, again, we have a standard type of formula here. It doesn't really lean any which way in my opinion, so I chose to take it up to 3 light coats. I think most will get away with 2 normal coats, but your preference and all that good stuff. This one also dries down quite flat because it's very packed full of shimmer and it is so incredibly flattering and bright in person. To me, it's almost like a raspberry type of pearly color in that, like on my macro shot here, you can see there's a purple tint to the shift. By Dany Vianna, Spore Me 3 is a sheer milky base with UCC magnetic microflakes in fuchsia to gold with fuchsia metallic shreds and purple and white irregular glitters. This one's inspired by a Chinese red carnation spore under the microscope. Price is $14 and there's a cap of 400 bottles. Now, I did ask Dany if she intended this one to be a topper or not, and she said it's intended to be worn either way. So I chose to show it both as a topper and by itself. This is what I would consider a true sheer finish. You'll absolutely see your visible nail line if you have one of some sort, and I don't think it's ever going to build to opacity, so quite versatile in how you want to wear this one. I will say the magnetic effect itself is quite subtle. Cadillacquer's Stellar Evolution is a strong green to blue shimmer base with blue and purple reflective glitter. This one's inspired by a photo of an embryonic stem cell converting over to a brain cell. Price is $14 and there is a cap of 630 bottles. This is one of my top picks this month. It is stunning and Cadillacquer does these glitter finishes so perfect. I'm going to suggest 3 coats, a glitter smoothing top coat and a glossy top coat. This is shimmer perfection, but the glitters are also so strong, but they don't take away from the shimmer, but they still sparkle so strongly. If you like blingy polishes, this one's going to be for you. Cameo Colors brings us Apple of Mice Eye. This is a lavender base with a pink sheen, full of luminous indigo purple and turquoise flecks, blue metallic and black flakes, and small white matte glitters. This one's inspired by ganglion cells expressing fluorescent proteins in a mouse retina. Price is $12.50 and there's a cap of 250 bottles. Per usual, Cameo does these kind of flirting with almost being kitchen sink polishes, but it's not muddy. They're just done really well, in my opinion. I'm going to suggest 2 normal or 3 super thin coats, like what I did here. You will need a glitter smoother though, because this one dries down on the thirsty side. Chameleon's Cellular Bloom is a thermal that goes from pink when cold to colorless, somewhat sheer white when warm, filled with small iridescent flakes, shifting green, orange, and pink holographic glitters in a variety of sizes. This one is $13.75 with a cap of 250 bottles. This is a true jelly formula. It's got quite a bit of a bounce factor to it. So I'm going to suggest 2, maybe 3 coats. This is going to depend on how you tend to apply. That third coat, as you can see there, I went in ridiculously thin because I was on the fence as to whether or not it was going to be too much polish on the nails. For me, it was not. And again, I went in very thin. You might need a glitter smoothing top coat just because this one does dry down quite flat, and those glitters, depending on your top coat, if it's on the thinner side, might be a little textured. Coloristic Carol's Wavelength is another one of my top picks this month. This is a deep emerald green jelly base with green to teal magnetic effect. This one's inspired by glowing brain cells. Price is $13.50, and there's a cap of 400 bottles. This is beautiful. It's stunning. It flirts with being a metallic one coater, and it builds up like just something else. It plumps up in that chrome type of way. And I don't know, it's just magical and so glowing good. Now, it's been a hot minute since I've showed you all a little bit behind the scenes what the heck I do in between my magnetic shots. And I also got sent from PPU the SJ magnet. I'm probably saying that incorrectly here. But anyways, this is the new velvet magnet we got in the shop. So I figured I would show it off in addition to the ring magnet, which is also in the PPU shop. I think we're getting more of these too. But this is how I do it. Figured it was a nice refresher course for this very school-related month for myself. And as you can see here, I am just going through using DRK's Magic Magnetic Top Coat, and Wavelength looks amazing, both velvet style or ring magnet style. So it responded well to that top coat if you choose to do it that way, or if you, of course, go in and decide to magnetize each of your layers. Your preference on that. Just make sure, do what I did here and magnetize your top coat layer too. It helps that pigment stick in place. So anyways, Wavelength is stunning. Only do 2 coats, and it is a chef's kiss on that glow magnetic factor. Cracked Polish brings us Rusty Microbe. This is a metallic rusty copper shade that shifts from green to gold, accented with a delicate dusting of red to green to gold shifting flakes. This one's 13 with a cap of 1,000 bottles. Rusty Microbe is a true chrome type of buildup to it. It's very interesting, and it does capture that nice coppery type of color to it with a strong gold shift. I'm going to suggest 3 coats on this one. Now, those of you with nubbins or, less wide load nails than what I have, you might be able to get away with 2 normal coats, but I appreciate plumping up metallic finishes like this because they'll dry down really flat. So I like going up to 3 coats on these. Crystal Knockout's Source is an aqua to clear thermal with purple to teal color shifting shimmer, black shreds, matte white and metallic purple glitter, and holographic glitters in violet, teal, and silver. This one's inspired by a plant cell. Price is $13 with no cap. Source has a very heavy type of formula to it. Those of you who prefer to have somewhat thinner formulas, you might want to add maybe 2 or 3 drops of thinner to it overall because it is quite thick. So I'm going to suggest 2 light coats. Now, the thermal properties to this one are on the more subtle side. In person, I could absolutely see it, but it kind of goes together. Like you can see the warm and cold states, but I don't know. I feel like my ice water shot gives a really good representation of what I'm trying to say here. You'll need a glitter smoother with this one though, because it is quite chunky in glitters and it is so pretty and sparkly in person. Cupcake Polishes Sugar Sugar is a black jelly-based polish filled with gold, purple, blue, red, shifting multi-chrome flakes. This one's inspired by its namesake Under a Microscope. Price is $13.50 and there is no cap. Sugar Sugar is, again, I do agree with that official description, a true jelly. I'm seeing some versatility with this, and you'll see it on the Willet Topper segment even better than what I'm describing here. It's got a really strong mosaic-like effect as you go up to it. It's almost like stained glass if you choose to stop at either like 1 or 2 coats. If you want to build it up like what I did, do 3 thin coats as the base is quite squishy and plumping and you don't want over buildup. And I don't know, there's a lot of versatility with this one. It does dry down really flat though, so use a good thicker glossy top coat. Cuticula's That's That Me Espresso. This is a blackened teal base with iridescent flakes that shift pink, orange, green, gold, along with small silver holographic flakes. This one is 13 with no cap. Espresso has a wonderful jelly formula to it. I will strongly urge you to go up to 3 coats with this one. Now, it is a jelly type of finish, and you can maybe stop at 2 coats. You'll see the tiniest hint of a smile line in really bright lights, but that 3rd coat to me plumped it up perfectly, and it just gave me that opacity I was looking for. So do 3 thin coats and a glossy top coat. This one didn't have any texture, which I was very pleasantly surprised with, and it is very lovely on that mosaic effect. Dom Nail Polish brings us Powerhouse of the Cell. This is a blurple base with blue shimmer, blue holographic glitters, and purple reflective glitter. This one's inspired by, of course, the organelle mitochondria under a microscope. Price is $13.50, and there's a cap of 500 bottles. This is another one of my top picks, and despite the inspiration, it like brings back awful memories of a professor screaming at us that is silly, the blah, 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 the mitochondria. There's more to it than Powerhouse. Anyways, I freaking digress. Grad school is like scarred me. But anyways, this is beautiful. It's got that true reflective glitter finish. Use the texture from your previous coat to adhere the next. I think 3 super thin coats or 2 normal coats is going to be the best with this. And of course, you'll need a glitter smoothing top coat. This is glowy sparkle perfection. Danglefoot's I've got the dreaded Lurgey is a muted lilac base with strong gold, somewhat subtle aqua shimmer, and reflective glitter. This one's inspired by an image of a bacterium under the microscope. Price is $13.50, and there's a cap of $250. We have a very glowy type of finish going on here. What's going to capture most of the opacity, it's almost like a pseudo opacity, is that strong shimmer going throughout it. That said, I do think if a visible nail line bugs you, you might want to use a blurring base of some sort. It's not overly noticeable in person, but in bright lights, you may see your smile line. This is another one you'll need to use a glitter smoother with. Dreamland's I Collect Mold Spores and Fungi is a mix of blue and purple shimmer in various sizes with a shift to pinky purple and a smoky base. This one's inspired by amethyst slime molds. Price is $13.50, and there's a cap of 500 bottles. Dreamland's is very rich in opacity, no surprise there, easy to build up, and I thought 2 coats and a glossy top coat worked the best with this. Anything more than that, it's overkill. This is what I would describe as being a vampire type of multi-chrome. Emily DeMolly's Closer is one of my top picks this month too. It's a blue jelly base with mini silver holographic bar glitters. This one's inspired by a slide image. Price is $12, and there's a cap of $320. Now, I feel like bar glitters divide the community big time, and it's like a great debate as to you either hate them to pieces, pun intended, or you love them. I'm on the fence of I love them. They give this really interesting type of, I don't know, like a firework type of sparkle. I personally loved it. And Emily DeMolly does jellies so well. I'm going to suggest 2 coats to build it up. This is one that is a true jelly finish, so you may want to use a blue base if you want to cover up any potential visible nail line, but I just think it's soft and perfect and squishy and jello-like. I didn't have any texture with those bar glitters per se, but I did use a gloopier top coat at the time of recording. Femme Fatale's Lady of the Lake was from last month. It did not make it into the US shop. It was on the Femme Fatale's site for Aussie customers, but we are bringing the February polish and then the March polish too. So Lady of the Lake is just a packed full glitter bomb. It is very pretty, and it's what I would describe almost as being one of their signature finishes. It's got this nice blue to somewhat purple type of multi-chrome shift to it in the backdrop there. You'll see it on my macro shot. And in general, it's just a sparkle bomb. I know some of you really like these circular glitters that I like too. These are those. You will need a glitter smoother and build it up to a thin 3 coats. And then this month's Femme Fatale Devil in the Freezer is a berry hollow flake with blue sheen. This one's inspired by a Richard Preston book about smallpox, and we have a fantastic, interesting too, type of buildup. I thought it was going to look a certain way whenever I started off on the first coat, but then going up to the 3rd coat, I was pleasantly surprised that it built up to a decent opacity, I have to say. I was expecting it to be quite sheer, but it definitely gave me really good full coverage right there on that third coat. So I'm going to suggest 3 coats, a glitter smoothing top coat and a glossy top coat. The reflective glitters going throughout this are not so much that it's going to give you that gritty type of chunky texture, but it's going to give you that soft type of scattered sparkle. Glam Polish brings us Happy Grass. This is an electric lime base with a roller shimmer, shifting iridescent flakes, black flakes, neon micro glitter, and reflective glitter. This one's inspired by grass under the microscope. Price is $14, and there's a cap of 250 bottles. Happy Grass has a true, in my opinion, curly formula to it. It built up to a delicious 2 coats. It is one of my top picks this month too, and it's just giving me spring vibes. I'm here for it. I will suggest a glitter smoother with this one, as we do have lots of glitters. Glisten Glow brings us Dust Bunnies. This is a medium gray base with color shifting shimmer that shifts purple, blue, and pink, and green and gold at the most extreme angles, with silver holographic micro flakes and silver reflective glitters. This one's $13.50 with no cap. Dust Bunnies has an excellent opacity to it. I thought 2 coats and it plumped out and just built up so perfect. Now, speaking of Glisten Glow's top coats, if you grabbed her glitter grabber last month, I hope you did. That's what I used on Dust Bunnies, and she's also offering up her glossy top coat. I have used this one for a hot minute, many years actually, way back in the day, and it's fantastic. I can safely say it does not smear stamping or nail art if that's your thing. It's a quick dry, a true quick dry. So here I have 2 coats of Dust Bunny. I did use a layer of glitter smoother, and then this is my final coat with the glossy top coat. You can see how nice that is. It is one of those quick dries that I think as you're going down in your bottle, if you're going to do like refills or anything like that, it will need just a touch of thinner as you're going down, but it is a fantastic quick dry top coat. Great Lakes Lacquer, the Human Condition, is a deep teal filled with purple to red to gold shifting shimmer. This one's inspired by human cells under a microscope. Price is $13.50, and there is no cap. This is a somewhat jelly type of formula. It builds up in a softer type of way, and the shimmer, to me, is what's giving you that, again, somewhat pseudo-like opacity. You could stop at 2 coats if you appreciate a softer type of finish, but that third coat is going to deepen out that base color and really give you that deep teal that we just saw in the official description there. The shimmer itself is quite shifty. I mostly saw that nice purple to reddish pink type of shift to it, and at the most extreme angles, you'll see that gold. I'm going to suggest 3 coats and a glossy top coat. Jen & Berry's Simply Rosettes is a magenta base with glowy pink gold shimmer and scattered holographic micro flakes. This one's inspired by a photo micrograph of a Mozambique ruby. Price is $13.50, and there's a cap of 400 bottles. Simply Rosettes is easy to build up to opacity. It's an incredibly flattering type of magenta, somewhat berry-ish type of base in my opinion, and I'm going to suggest 2 normal or 3 super thin coats. You can see that between that second and third coat there, I had excellent plumpage, for lack of better words, but your preference if you want to take it up to that third coat or not. It will dry down quite flat in an almost chrome type of way because it's so packed full of shimmer goodies, so use a good thicker glossy top coat. Kathleen Co's Microscopic is an inky blue with fuchsia and gold to green shifting shimmer and packed with green holographic glitters. This one's inspired by an image of microorganisms. Price is $13.50, and there's a cap of 600 bottles. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is, I think, the 3rd type of finish that we're seeing like this, and I'm so glad we're seeing more of it because it's ridiculously sparkly, but not so gritty. If you liked Carnival Queen from the Mardi Gras video that I did, I think about a month ago at this point, you'll really appreciate this one. It's like the blue distant cousin to it. I'm going to suggest 3 coats and a glossy top coat to kind of smooth out how flat this one dries down. But again, it's not gritty. It's really interesting and very sparkly in a strong in-depth glitter way. KB Shimmer's A Real Ordeal is a teal blue leaning multi-chrome. This one's inspired by peacock ore. Price is $13, and there's a cap of 800 bottles. This is very pretty and true to KB Shimmer's formulas. I think 2 coats will work the best with it. And because we have this chrome-like feel with the pigment going on here, I'm going to suggest going in really light and letting that paddle brush do the work for you to prevent any type of potential chrome-like streaks on the nails. Finish with a good glossy top coat because this will also dry down quite flat. It is quite shifty in like a peacocky sort of way, mostly blues and purples. Lemmings under the Electron Microscope is a black jelly base with red to copper to gold to green multi-chrome shift and gold holographic micro sparks. The pricing cap is to be announced. Under the Electron Microscope has a heavy, dense type of jelly formula to it, though it is quite smooth on the nail. I will suggest 2 or 3 coats. Your choice on that. I thought 2 normal for me, which is somewhat heavy-handed, coats worked the best, but if you tend to apply on the thinner side or have longer nails, you might want to do a 3rd thin coat. Lumen's Espress Oh is a vivid berry pink with red to pink to orange shift. This one's inspired by coffee under the microscope. Price is $13 and there is no cap. The Lumen is another one of my top picks. It is so vibrant in person, just like what you see on my full hand shot here in just a moment. And I love this type of color against my skin tone. So medium to deep skin tones, this is going to flatter you so awesome. I'm going to suggest 3 coats. You may want to stop at 2 coats if you tend to apply heavy-handed, but I liked the plumpness of the 3rd coat because this is one of those shimmer bombs that will dry down quite flat. So use a good glossy top coat and 3 thin coats, and it's your best friend and chef's kiss on that beautiful pink. Lurid Lacquer brings us the Observer's Paradox. This is a duochrome that shifts from metallic pink to a vibrant green. This one's inspired by the maker's background in sociolinguistics. Price is $14 and there's a cap of 700 bottles. This is so interesting. I don't typically gravitate towards these darker, more earthy type of multi-chromes, but I can absolutely get behind this one. It has an excellent buildup to it and you will hit opacity on that 2nd coat. I'm extra. And I always say I like my nails plump looking, so I chose to do 3 thin coats. But that said, I think a lot of people can get away with 2 normal coats. This will dry down quite flat in a chrome-like way. So again, use a good glossy top coat. And this is shifty good. It's almost got a bit of a sparkle factor to it too. Monarch's Culture Shock is a bright teal polish with glowy green shimmer and green reflective sparkle. This one's inspired by bacterium under the microscope. Price is $13.50 and there is no cap. No surprise here, Culture Shock is also one of my top picks. I love these types of, peacocky type of mermaidy looking colors. And this is Chef's Kiss. Very much like the Lumen. I think these types of colors flatter me so well, just kind of tooting my own horn here, toot toot, but medium to deep skin tones. This is another one. It's going to pop very, very nice on you. So 3 thin to normal coats is going to be the best in my opinion. And you may want to use a glitter smoothing top coat as this will dry down with a touch of grit from the reflective sparkle. Night Owl's Necessary Weevil, just so clever, is described as a gray crelly filled with iridescent flakes that shift green aqua violet and orange yellow green. This one's inspired by a picture of dried thorax scales of the weevil Euphyllis under a microscope. Price is $13 with no cap. We have a flaky bomb going on here, and this is what I would describe as being a milky type of base with that gray in the background. So it's kind of soft, and what's going to give you that opacity is the flakes. So a bit of a pseudo type of buildup there in terms of opacity. I'm going to suggest 2 coats because it is quite plump, and I think a 3rd coat would have been a bit overkill. So 2 coats and a glossy top coat. Painted Polish brings us Broccoli Biology. This is a lavender magenta crelly with emerald green metallic flakes. This one's inspired by a purple broccoli floret image using a scanning electron microscope. One of the ones I was trained on. I was trained on SEM and TEM if you're curious. This one's $13 with a cap of $300. Broccoli Biology has a wonderful formula, creamy smooth, no surprise there for this brand. Easy to build up and a strong soft level factor. I'm going to suggest 2 coats and a glossy top coat. Pampered Polishes Subatomic Levels. I don't have the official description for this one, but I would describe it as being a somewhat dusky type of medium blue with these tiny little red and black flakes going throughout it. And these are on these small to tiny sizes, in my opinion. Kind of like the egg candy that we're going to start seeing here in the stores pretty soon. It's probably already in the stores. I just haven't gone the last couple of days. But anyways, Subatomic Levels has a crelly type of formula to it. It builds up like a cream in the general opacity of it. And I'm going to suggest 3 light coats. Just slowly build it up to give you the most opacity for your buck here and finish with a glossy top coat. I didn't have any super texture from those little flecks. Paradox Polish Serotonin is a denim blue base with black and teal flake and a pinch of Shifty Aurora Shimmer. Price is $13.50 and there's a cap of 300 bottles. Serotonin has a wonderful, dense type of formula and it is chock full of flakes. And it's just very interesting in how it builds up. Very unique in my opinion. I'm going to suggest 2 coats, a glitter smoothing top coat and a glossy top coat. This one does have, in my opinion, a touch of a sparkle to it too. Patty Lopez brings us Neon Botany. This one is inspired by various plants, is $13.50 and capped at $400. I don't have the official description for this yet in my rush to get this video out, and I would describe it as being a tinted type of base with a strong purple shimmer and black and shifty blue-green flakes. We have a jelly formula here. It's on a soft side in terms of how it builds up, but when you go up to that 3rd coat, it's so dramatically different than the 2nd coat. I was pleasantly surprised. I wasn't sure it was going to build up to that glow I saw in the polish bottle, as you can see on my full hand shot there, but it absolutely did. So 3 coats. Be careful of putting too much polish on your nails because we do have a plumping, kind of squishy formula, and then finish with a glossy top coat. Penelope Loose Butterfly Wings is a blurple base with salmon orange gold magnetic pigment. This one is $13.50 with a cap of 700 bottles. This is a jelly type of formula. It's on the softer side in terms of buildup, but between that 2nd and 3rd coat, it just packed a punch in terms of opacity. So your preference on whether you want to stop at 2 or 3 coats. Honestly, I thought that 3rd coat was the tiniest bit of overkill. Now, it wasn't too much that, say, it looked lumpy on my nails and too much polish, but again, your preference and how you apply. When you wear it magnetized, it's got that nice dramatic contrast between the base and that magnetic pigment. And when you wear it unmagnetized, it is quite almost like a deep type of magenta-ish color. It responded really well to the DRK Magic Magnetic Top Coat. Rogue Polish has Cellular. This is a light red crelly leaning jelly with cells, quote unquote, of iridescent green, blue, pink, and gold flakes and a splattering of black flakes. This one's inspired by a cross section of celery dyed and put under the microscope. Price is $13 and there's no cap. I want to note to my eyes, the base color itself looks like what I'm seeing on my monitor here. I hope it doesn't get skewed across screens, but to me, it's like a pinky purple type of color. I'm going to suggest 2 coats and a glossy top coat as this one plumped up really well, and I thought that 3rd coat would have been too much. Royla Lee brings us You Just Digested the Bad Guy. This one's a green base with gold shimmer. This one's inspired by the movie Inner Space. Price is $13.50 and there is no cap. One of my other top picks for this month, and if you're curious, yes, I did put 2 of the lime greens for this month on the video in my top picks list. And I think that they're both different enough to warrant both if you're wanting them, because the Coloris is quite deep and of course magnetic too, but it's a lot deeper green. One of those really flattering types of colors. We have lots of flattering colors this month on myself. Again, toot toot. But I'm going to suggest 3 thin or 2 normal coats with the Royla, and that's just because it does have that strong metallic type feel to the shimmer and you want to prevent any potential streaks, so go in light on your coats and finish with a good glossy top coat. Sassy Sauce It's Tricky is a blackened violet magnetic base with a glowy red to purple shimmer and holographic dust. This one's inspired by trichomoniasis under the microscope. Price is $13 and there's a cap of 1,000 bottles. It's Tricky is very, very pretty. This builds up really interesting in how it looks unmagnetized. I would not have known this was magnetic if I didn't look at my PR notes, but the magic happens when you magnetize it. It responded well to the magnetic top coat if you magnetize like me, or if you do it layer by layer, either way. So again, another user-friendly one. And this is so pretty. It's got that strong holographic effect and that touch of that red pull as you saw my macro shot there in more dimmed lighting. Sweetheart Polish Let's Catch Up is a peachy jelly base with yellow to orange to red shifting Aurora shimmer. This one's inspired by a cooked tomato skin under the microscope. Price is $13 and there's a cap of 250 bottles. Let's Catch Up is a true jelly formula. I do agree with that official description, and this is what I classify as being a true peachy type of color. It's quite warm, and the shimmer itself warms it up even further. Now, if you have a prominent free edge of any type, my disclaimer is going to apply here of a nude to you cream or a blurring base of some sort, and you can cover that up that way too. Overall, this is a more softer type of buildup, and it's quite glowy with the warm shimmer. Zombie Claw, last but not least, has Ready for My Close-Up. This is a deep violet base with electric red gold shimmer, inspired by a zygote of a zebrafish. Price is $13.50 and there's a cap of 300 bottles. The Zombie Claw is my final top pick for this month. It's very pretty, and I could never resist these types of, blue, indigo, or deep violet type of bases with this red shimmer. It's just magical. Now, I want to note in really bright lights, you can kind of see through my falsies, but in person, it's not super noticeable. So your preference if you want to do a blurring base or not. I think 3 coats and a glossy top coat works the best. It is a rich formula though, so if you wore 3 coats like me, go in thin. And we're going to wrap this up with the Willet Topper segment. This is where I use a black swatch stick to demonstrate if polishes have layering capabilities. So as we go on the Willet Topper segment here, this is a long part, and just to keep it short and sweet, I think most of you know my disclaimers at this point. I personally, I would not recommend super intense holographics as layered, and I personally would not also recommend, say, thermals layered, unless of course they're colorless on the warm part, which you'll see here in just a moment, the Chameleon. I used one of my milky swatch sticks to kind of show off that you could use like a white under it just to kind of demonstrate that further. But anyways, most of you know at this point what I'm going to say here. So we're going to do story time since the Willet Topper segment on my PPU videos are so huge. If you're wanting to be bored with some more science stuff, I'm a huge science geek, and my thesis actually, I incorporated quite a bit of some professors not on my committee in grad school were they would kind of chuckle a little bit that my thesis was quite overreaching and bordering almost on a dissertation. But I was looking at and comparing and contrasting the oral microbiome in a variety of, I had a blind sample of students, and I was comparing their cortisol levels, so their stress levels, with various immunological factors. So various inflammatory factors, and how do they correlate in relations to various like biomarkers, that types of thing. I was actually the secondary researcher on this specific set of samples because a paper had already been done on this sample set of stressing factors, and they did this whole huge thing with like attachment parenting, and how did they, I don't know, the people before me that had these samples, like they went bananas and like really in depth on their cortisol levels and how they were raised and their attachment to their parents. It was fascinating. And then I came in and I was using those same demographics that they had already gotten from the blind samples. And I was using those, and I did all kinds of tests with them. I got to do sequencing. So I got to look at their microbial communities that were from their saliva samples. And then I also did a bunch of ELISAs. I would be happy if I never had to see ELISAs again. I did so many. At one point, I had almost 600 samples I was working on. It was, again, a really ambitious project. It was so much work, but it was really fascinating and interesting. And if you are curious, there were some samples when I was under the hood, and I would open them up, and I'd have to test them, of course, in whatever experiment I was doing, whether it was the ELISAs or prepping them for DNA sequencing for the microbial communities, what have you. There were a couple times that I kind of grossed myself out, and you could tell that the person had chewed gum or something like that. And sometimes it was just so gross. So if you're curious, there were like 2 or 3 samples I had opened up under the hood, and I just kind of gagged away from myself, that I had to turn my head away from the glass and the hood, because I was like, oh, this is so gross. But it's fascinating. And I love microbiomes. I love all that kind of stuff. So this month was super, super fun. So per usual, we have some non-polished goodies to check out for this month. I'm going to start in alphabetical. I cannot talk. So we're going to go in alphabetical order, like what we do on the swatching portion. And I'm going to talk about, or rather smell. But this month we have the scent Mayor Lemon, and I've already used it for the part that you're seeing behind me here. And it's just a straight kitchen lemon scent. It's super straight lemon. It reminds me of the Bath and Body Works. I can't remember what it's called, but I think it's like kitchen lemon or something like that. But that's what it is. It's very clean and crisp and just a straight citrus fruit lemon smell. This is a really cool cuticle oil pen. It is, I think this one's 3 milliliters. Ingredients on it are jojoba oil, vitamin E oil, grapeseed oil, sweet almond oil, sunflower oil, argan oil, castor oil, acai berry extract, tea tree oil, and of course, fragrance oil. So you have all kinds of goodies going on in here. This is what I consider, or what I use as one of my everyday types of cuticle oils. It's super lightweight. It sinks in really easily. This is one of the ones that I do rotate when I'm swatching. It also goes in my purses too. These are definitely get good use when they get sent to me. The next thing I have to share with you all is KB Shimmer's Sugar Scrub. You knew that was coming. We have Blue Sage and Berry. And I have to say, when I was opening my PR package, I was like, the heck does that smell like? And I did already do my photographs, so you won't get to hear any obnoxious package sounds, thankfully, or rather, I won't have to hear it when I edit the sound back after this. But it's really interesting. I'm definitely getting this very herbal type of green, like an herb green type of smell. Like I guess that's the sage, and then there's the berry to go with it. And the berry to me is like a almost like a blue raspberry. Like a slushy type of berry smell, but it's completely equal with that sage. So it's this interesting, it's like candy and like an herbal type of smell. It's really, again, interesting, and it's not in a bad way at all. If you tend to like those nice earthy type of notes, those green type of notes, I think you'll definitely enjoy this. But as a candy lover, I always like bakery and sweet scents and stuff. But I do love that herbal smell too, but it's balanced out really well. A really well done scent, honestly. I liked it. It's very just interesting. I would have never put those together myself. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. Maybe it's the perfect mashup for those of us who like bakery and sweet smells and, earthy type things. So you can grab this in the shop too. If you are new to this video, my typical spiel for Sugar Scrub from KB Shimmer, it is quite oil based. Like, let me show you all here. That's probably not the best. You probably can't get the best angle of it, but it's very heavily oil based. That said, if you use it in the shower like I do, be very careful because your tub will get quite slick. So when I use it in the shower, I mostly use it in the shower. And then when I do my cuticle remover on my natural nails and clean them up for photos and prep like that, I will use a sugar scrub in my routine as well, just to prep my skin for photos. I get that nice, pampered look to my skin, for lack of better words. You can do that as a person who has studied germs and whatnot, for lack of better words. I always say use a popsicle stick or something, or maybe even like a reusable washable scoop, something like that. That way, if you're using it in the shower especially, you don't want to get any water on it, because it is a true, that's actually sugar in there, and it can get kind of gloopy if you get water in there. So that's my spiel on that. I personally love to use it after I shave. Some people will use it before shaving. I personally like it after shaving because it's so oil based. I don't have to use lotion after I get out of the shower. I just kind of like blot myself with a towel, for lack of better words. So yeah, that's it. You can grab the Glisten Glow cuticle oil pen, and you can get the KB Shimmer Sugar Scrub non-polished items in your order. So all that to say, Polish Pickup is going to open up for wish listing this upcoming Sunday, March 2nd. Cannot believe we're in March. It's bananas. March 2nd, usually it's late afternoon time. You can get onto polishpickup.com. You can make an account if you haven't already, and then you can just kind of upload a wish list and you know, make it as big as you want and then kind of whittle down as you go throughout the week, what have you. That's personally what I do. And the site opens up for official pre-order starting March 7th at 11 a.m. Eastern time. And it's going to run until, let's see, the 7th, 8, 9, 10, until March 10th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern time. Shipping is combined if you want to go back and do multiple orders. When shipping starts, it's about 3 weeks after the site closes or shop closes, and then any excess shipping gets refunded that way. There is a calendar of events in the website. If you want to go through it, you'll see there's a blog, there's all kinds of stuff you can check out. So you'll see when shipping starts, when voting starts, nomination starts, all that stuff. It's on the website too. So I will link you all below to Polish Pickup if you want to get in there and either start your account, things like that. When the shop is not open and wish listing is also not open too, we also have the basic essentials shop too. So you'll see some, base and top coats. I think there's a cuticle balm sometimes rotated throughout it. That's also worth it to check there too. So lots of goodies in that regard. That will all be in the description box below, including timestamps if you need to go back. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.